Hello, 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 everyone, and happy International Women's Day. I am Marcia Guerriere, the founder of Her Sweet Spot and the presenting author for this amazing book we have to present for you today. Welcome in, everyone, to the broadcast. I'm so excited. I can't share with you all enough how amazingly phenomenally proud I am of all of these ladies that you see here. I think this is maybe one of our first times all together on a broadcast going live, and I can't wait to present to you guys the stories behind the pathways to her rise. We're just gonna make sure that we get all shared up. You guys, are you sharing this broadcast? This celebration is International Women's Day, and we're here to cheer. It's so important that we recognize the leaders that are out here doing a darn thing, helping women get pay equity, and that's really what International Women's Day is all about. And I think Azra was the person who said, you know what, why don't we have this celebration and launch on this day? And I was like, boom, light bulb, right? How could we not take this time on this special day? It's not just about fighting the barriers and trying to overcome adversities through filling our wage gap. What we're doing as women who are running our own businesses, navigating, many of us, between work and entrepreneurship, navigating our family lives, and having so well overcome this last 12 months. This is the 1 year anniversary of our country's explosion of the pandemic of our time, right? And so we have all been through so much in our personal and professional lives. And I'm so honored that you all, out of the 20 women that were given the HerRise micro grant, you women actually raised your hand and accepted my invitation to be a part of my fourth anthology. And I just want, as part of your award, and I just want to celebrate you all today on this day. I feel like Oprah. Hello. That was just a little bit too much. But guys, I'm so honored that you guys did accept the call. And most of you, some of you have never written before and was like, I'm not a writer and I'm not going to be a writer. So, but you took the challenge. Many of you probably was like, this Marsha girl, I don't know her from a hole in the wall. She would leave me alone writing my story and didn't want to share some personal details. It helped you probably reflect on your the things that really pushed you and motivated you, things that entrepreneurs, women often don't reflect back on the experiences we have. I say this all the time, that when you see a woman leader, when you see a woman as an entrepreneur, no one understands there's trauma. There is trauma behind every smile and behind every story. And you guys shared, some of you may have shared some of that, but most of you shared all the good things that did come out of this year and through the journey that you've all experienced as entrepreneurs. And I'm so excited to share this day with you. So I am going to introduce our first in the pathways to horizon. I gotta get this right, guys. Thank you. We have 16 people on the line watching us today, and I'm thanking you all for watching. Thanks for live streaming with us. If you're streaming from Facebook, give me a number 1. If you're streaming from YouTube, give me a number 2. Let me know that you are here watching us today. We are asking you to share this broadcast with your community and help us tell the world about these 9 courageous stories. And Amazon, I'm going to post the Amazon link in a minute. Amazon is now open for you to purchase your copy of Pathways to Her Rise. So thank you all. Susan, thank you. Number 1 on Facebook. You are Oprah. She's so sweet. She said you are Oprah the second. I wish. Can we get the chicks? Can we get the Oprah chicks? Thank you, thank you. Trudy, welcome, welcome. Welcome to our Facebook stream today. I am going to bring up Gretchen Campbell, who is our first speaker or author in the chapter Her Mind, which is Becoming Her. And in my chapter, I should say, I really talk about the qualities it takes to become her, to get to your pathway, to walk your pathway to your own personal rise. And we'll talk to Gretchen now. And Gretchen, can you please share with everyone who's watching us via YouTube and or our Facebook live stream a little bit about your chapter?
Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. So in my book, I really talked about some of the fear that I had that took me so long to actually take the leap to being an entrepreneur. And so because I knew for a really long time that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor, and I've worked in, tons of mental health spaces. But for years, I knew that I wanted to open my own private practice. And it was a lot of fear that was holding me back. I knew that I had the experience. I knew that I had the knowledge to start my own, but it really was fear that was holding me back. And once I got through the fear, everything.
Oh, wow. I think Gretchen got her stream. She must be having internet problems. So I'm so sorry for Gretchen, who was booted off the StreamYard. She must be having internet problems. I feel so horrible for her. Next, we're going to go to Dr. Shelley. Dr. Shelley, I want you to share with me your journey.
Well, first of all, thank you, Marcia, for putting all this together. And this is my first opportunity to write a chapter. I've never written anything that's been published besides a dissertation, and people usually don't line up and buy dissertations. They're a little dry. But I wanted to share my story, and that is that I've been an educator for 25 years in business, 10 years before that, and decided I really wanted to branch out and do something different. And so earned my doctorate in the field of telemedicine adoption and implementation, and started working with some of the healthcare organizations here in Kansas City, but had a premature death of my father, and that got me into the whole way of thinking, how can I help people live longer using telehealth? And so we created an app called HerShow, and developing that right now. And also with Diversity Telehealth, my first company helped put telehealth into schools to help children who aren't able to get to behavioral health counselors, and also help people in underserved areas to get access to healthcare, either through a teledoc app or through going to their neighborhood clinic, or also just any way that they can get access to healthcare as quickly and easily as possible. And we know that people of color suffer more chronic diseases at a higher rate, more intensely, and lifespan is cut short by that. So that's my mission, that's my goal.
Dr. Shelley, thank you so much for sharing your amazing story, your platform for telehealth, and really giving us all some education behind the necessity and the need for telehealth. It has been, first of all, Dr. Shelley is the first place winner of the HerRise pitch competition in October at the annual Woman on the HerRise conference. And we're just so happy that we could share your story and the gift that you are giving to our community for underrepresented families to have access to healthcare. So thank you so much for all you're doing. And this is not by accident. Well, this is by accident, but we're going to now go to our next doctor that is featured in the book which is Dr. Jennifer Pierre. Please share with everyone your chapter on the parable healing.
Thank you. I was like, can you unmute me? Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Jennifer Pierre Thomas. I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much, Marcia, for having us here. My chapter is called Parable of Healing, and it's a nod to what has grounded me throughout my journey, which is God, and how this is very much a passion and a purpose for me, my career. So I have had over 15 years in healthcare, and it started with public health, which is my first career. And it follows my journey of just being really passionate about the integration of medicine. I believe that medicine should have both sides, the natural and the conventional medicine. And I feel like we're really missing out by not integrating medicine at this particular point in time. So I talk about how my parents, who are immigrants from Haiti, very much instilled that sense of, just pride and education and just pushing me along and teaching me those lessons about culture. And both of my grandparents were farmers. So, that kind of, really just comes into this whole journey. And I just became very health conscious, passionate about preventative medicine. And that's what kind of goes along in this journey. So after public health, I became a naturopathic doctor. And those are the two tenets that guide me in how I treat patients. And my particular passion is to improve racial health disparities, and particularly in the areas of reproductive health. Women are affected by so many diseases. We have so many, moving parts. And as a result, unfortunately, our issues are very much not focused on. So I'm interested in getting more research for issues like fibroids and infertility, which affect all women, but definitely women of color, Black women. And on International Women's Day, like so many of the other authors, I talk about my journey and some ups and downs about being a woman's business owner, sometimes not being compensated properly, which really inspired me to go out on my own in the middle of the pandemic. So I had my business since 2017, but I was managing a medical practice in Connecticut. And I decided, after taking that practice to a telemedicine format, like Dr. Shelley was talking about, it was imperative that, we were able to continue to see patients. So I did that whole process. And as I mentioned, I wasn't properly compensated. So it was time for me to step out and take everything that I had done for other people and their businesses and take it into mine. So that is my story. And that's why I call it a parable of healing, because I talk about those ups and downs that I experienced, and the healing and the drive to be a business owner, and how, the things that my parents taught me about having a strong education, all the different things I learned, my husband just assisting me with my business and being a cheerleader, my family, my friends, always encouraging me. And so that, I believe, is one of the greatest things that you can have in your journey to HerRise.
Yes, as we do on our weekly calls. Yes, that is exact. When I read your story, and before then, when you were selected by our committee for the HerRise grant, I personally felt close to you, because I suffered from infertility and been through all of everything that I know. You are helping women overcome and get through. So I personally was moved and thankful and grateful to you for the work that you're doing to help women just like me overcome fertility issues and having either our rainbow babies, our first babies, and all that. So I thank you for the work that you're doing. Let's clap it up for Dr. Jen. Because now we're friends, Dr. Jen.
Yes.
Well, next it's not, again, it is just how it happened, but our next doctor on the live stream is Dr. Erica Tate. I want to bring you in and have you tell us all about growing and building sustainable businesses and what your chapter is all about.
Hello, I'm Dr. Erica Tate. I'm so excited to be part of this opportunity all the way from the beginning with the micro grants and just being with all my co-authors as we have the opportunity to share our stories. And what was interesting about writing this book chapter is it came right after I was doing this talk to Utah State about sharing my entrepreneurial journey. And so as I was preparing for that talk, I was thinking about like, what is it that made me make the decisions to get in this pathway and to pursue and build a business. And I started out as an engineer, and I was always very interested in diversifying the pipeline with more women and students of color so that they can contribute their lived experiences to STEM careers. And then went in and got my doctorate in education, and I'm an educational researcher, and really in that moment found like my love of community and helping students like learn about how science can be a tool for advancing equity. And in order for me to do that work, I embedded myself as a community advocate when I was living in the Bay Area, and really just worked alongside others who were advocating for change and advocating for equity in terms of living conditions and health. And so when it was time for me to graduate, I just knew I needed to do the work that supported communities. And that's how I ended up founding my business, Blue Knowledge. And we really do work to advance equity and have worked on numerous issues related to food justice and health and young people and childhood obesity prevention. And when I was doing this talk, I thought, I have worked on all these projects to advance equity for different issues and for different communities, many of which I'm a part of. And I thought, what better way to do this work and use a platform to think about Black women entrepreneurs and the issues that they face, and including like inequity to funding. And so when I was writing this book chapter, this was fresh on my brain, and I was just thinking like, what can I contribute personally to supporting Black women entrepreneurs, or anyone who's really trying to take their passion, whether it's for community or people, and transform it into a business that gives back, but also supports them and their family. And so many of us, we're not in the business of helping people start businesses like Marsha, who's really fantastic at it, but we work really hard to develop our products and our services so that we can take our life's work and help, make change. But along the way, we learn all of these things, and we gain these insights, and we have this knowledge. And, learning is my business, and education is one of the passions for me. So what better way than to, along with sharing the journey, share some guidance and some insights that might help and inspire others to really realize their dreams and make an impact. And so that's what my chapter is about. It talks about kind of my journey. It talks about me becoming a mom and realizing that with 2 kids, you don't have the same amount of time as before, and how you have to make decisions and change your perspective so that you can continue to do the work that you're doing, but also, still be present and there for your family so that they can grow up to, realize their dreams and make a difference. So read it and read all the stories and celebrate. It's very exciting.
Thank you so much, Dr. Erica, for sharing your story and really highlighting something that's very important. You may think, because I chose a profession that is supporting entrepreneurs, and when I put together these anthologies, my ask is always that the authors share insights and advice. So it's not just about sharing your story, but along the way through your journey as entrepreneurs, as small business operators and owners, you have learned and gained such a robust amount of knowledge that you don't even think about how transferable it really is to others. And that's why, for me, putting together these books like Pathways to HerRise is so important, not just to amplify your voices, but to also inspire more and encourage other women to do the same. So I thank you for the contribution you have made to our book this year. Yay! So next we're going to go to Azra, who has shared in her chapter all about family legacies, breaking barriers, and overcoming so much. Azra, please share with everyone your story.
Thank you. My name is Azra Khalfan Karmali, and I'm the CEO of Plaques by Azra. We're based in New York, and it's a family-owned business. So it started really when my parents moved from Tanzania to the USA 50 years ago. It's been a journey, to say the least, but I want to say that what I appreciate is what I've learned, especially within the past 10 years. I think it's been life-changing, and one is, I've been blessed with great networks and great friends who sincerely and genuinely wanted to see me rise. And what I want to say is that I heard like last week, it's that when there's a high tide, all the boats will rise. And I think that's great because when you're going up and you're taking other people up with you, it really just strengthens you more and kind of like makes you look better. And we're not doing it for that. In fact, when you're helping and sharing your network, sometimes you'll come across, I find it's very important to always remember those people that have helped me in my journey. But when you're doing that, you're not always necessarily going to be recognized for it. And that's okay. It's, it could, you're going to feel it a little bit, but that's fine. And it's okay to feel that way. What I came up with yesterday is like, our network is our net worth, but we're going to add more value to it if we actually share it wholeheartedly. And I know I've always been taught that the second you empty your cup, it will get full again. So let's keep it alive. And I invite men, to kind of join in and help share and uplift women in our stories, because we're in this together, and these are our dads, our husbands, our sons, our nephews. It's important for them to play an active role and be involved in uplifting women. So yeah, I hope that covers everything.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. This is real life, y'all. So we are having technical difficulties with some of our authors participating, but they will be back on the live stream to share more of their stories. So now I want to welcome Sundre. I-
Sundre.
Sundre, but we know her as Sunny because we're friends now because we're authors in this book. So Sunny, thank you so much for joining us today. Please share everyone your chapter, God's Sense of Humor.
Hey, everyone. First of all, thank you for this opportunity, Marcia. And thank you so much for putting me in the company of such wonderful women. That is just, I feel honored. So thank you. Um, I say it is God's sense of humor, but I will also say it's from television to toenails. Help me discover my truth. So I worked in television for 12 and a half years and decided to leave it all behind to do nails. And I remember one of the reporters at the TV station said, "You're going to leave TV to go play with someone's feet." And I said, "Yes, I am." And the reality is that I have been so blessed by taking a leap of faith. And God has been in this journey the entire way. And I would tell anybody the biggest thing is believe in your dream, believe in yourself, even when people are doubting you and what you are trying to pursue. When you really know that God has it for you, then pursue it. Um, it was very hard to leave a lucrative career in television and step out and do fingernails. But there's nothing like doing something that you enjoy. And I enjoyed television, but it took such a demand on my life and my time that I couldn't enjoy the rewards that came with it. So I remember my mother kept introducing me as a television producer even after I left the TV station. And I said, "Mom, why do you keep introducing me as a producer?" And she said, "Well, when teachers retire, they're still teachers." And I said, "Well, I didn't retire, I quit." I said, "I'm just using a different education. I can always go back to television, I can always go back to writing, but right now I'm using a different education." And I've been so blessed. And it is true that God has a sense of humor. He gives you things years before you ever think you're going to need them. When I started doing nails, it was just a hobby, something I enjoyed doing to relax. And I remember working at the TV station in Florida and doing nails. And then I went to North Carolina to work at the TV station, and I did nails as a hobby there. Never thought that this would be my career. And now we're a spa. We do manicures, pedicures, massage, facials, waxing, hair. It grew into much more than I ever saw. God had a vision that I did not know was there. So I would say be sure to take a risk, a walk of faith, and believe in yourself. That's the most important thing, because fear will debilitate you if you allow it. I think fear is one of those things that has its own energy, its own strength, its own stranglehold. And you just have to know that fear is not of God. So don't be afraid to take a leap of faith and encourage others. And when people don't believe in you, there's going to be people who know your worth. And those are the people that God puts in you. My biggest blessing in working in working at the spa, is that God has put wonderful people in my life. He has put friends, he has put supporters, he has put sustainers in my life. So that is one of my biggest blessings. And I hope you will read the book, Pathways to HerRise, because all of the stories are so inspirational. And each of them are intertwined, because at some point we've all shared some of the same struggles, the same stories. So it is a great read.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. Let's snap it up, ladies. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. It is, when I was reading your chapter, I did find it also very common to my story, because every time I want to give up, I too get sent messages from God. And it's like, oh gosh, you can't give up now, right? Someone out there needs. Thank you so much, Shaquan. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share this broadcast with everyone, and go ahead to Amazon and purchase your book. Joe, take a leap of faith and believe in yourself. So very well said. Joe said that on our Facebook, or on our YouTube channel, rather. Thank you so much for tuning in. And now I want to go to Leanna. Leanna, please share with everyone your story.
Hi, and thank you so much for this opportunity. Our stories are similar with Sandria because it's been a serious journey, and I thank you, Marcia, for bringing me out of the, out of the woods. Kind of found me, dusted me off, and bringing me into the new age. But, I started, over 35 years ago. I was working for ABC as a systems analyst. I was doing programming. I was traveling all over the world, setting up venues, and even dealing with new technology in the 80s. So it was a journey. I thought, this was great. I was going to be very successful. There was no doubt. And I ended up feeling as though my $1 million project was going to write a software package for the beauty industry. And that's what I did. I started trying to sell it. And at that time, because it wasn't there, that, I can teach these small salon owners how to run a business and be able to track it. And even though, it seemed to me so simple, because I was doing things from Yugoslavia, Germany, just being able to communicate, I thought, oh, this will be a little package and I can sell it, and it could go all over, United States, it could be international. But just as, the ladies talked about, God has another plan for us. And I started meeting these people, and I started, I said, I needed to find more. And I said, I tried to even buy my license to be able to say I'm a part of it, but it ended up that I ended up actually going to school and learning and going to these conferences. And I just saw the fun that they started having. And I started meeting people like John Atchison, Avalon, who is Isaiah. He is a scientist, and he works for Avalon, which is, he comes through chemistry. So when I started learning, like, the hair products, it had chemistry and it had geometry, and I was, going to learn even from James Harris, who was in Paris, and, just as far as visionary and about, it wasn't just about blowing hair. I was just excited. So I just left all that behind and ended up doing hair. And as it evolved, I ended up starting to learn more about as my clients, they were having problems. And it's just, even though I worked in California, like even during the Los Angeles games, I also lived there. So there they were doing a very holistic lifestyle. And I ended up learning so much. And even that value in that time of living and working in Los Angeles. And I guess part of, the story is falling in love and all that kind of stuff and what you do for love. I ended up changing the way I live and eat. And it has helped my clients. Now I've ended up helping thousands of people be able to change their lives. And that's what, my heart is. And that's why I'm here on this earth, really to be that bridge for clients who sometimes, finding those solutions that they need. And I went and got certified as a trichologist, which is a hair and scalp specialist, and also a iridologist, which is a holistic way of doing an MRI, looking in your eyes. And through this, I was able to get to the root cause of trying to help my clients. And that's, it filters out because you find a need for certain things. And because I'm a Christian and I've done ministry work, I also, people have heard what I was doing in the salon, helping young people. It also bursted a program called Beauty of the Heart, which is a non-for-profit for young people. And it's teaching them etiquette. So through this and different contributors and even my church, we were able to take them like overseas and helping them to eat and sleep and, just basic etiquette. And through this, it's just all been God's plan because this was not my plan. And coming from a family of like 13, my dad had 3 sets of kids. And I got married, got divorced, but I'm the only one who didn't have kids. So, it was in the plan to do that. But I have lots of nieces and nephews, and this has just Marcia pushing me to do this because she was like, I'll give you a couple more weeks. Why don't you try? And just pushing me to do this, and my sister helping me. It ended up to be a great thing, and I started collaborating with my family, which there's so many of us coming from 3 sets of children, 3 sets of my father's 3 sets of kids, but we were never raised that way. We were never half brothers, half sisters, or anything like that. So in the book, it's really interesting to see how it all is coming together. And now we're going to have a family reunion. So Marcia, I have to thank you even for that, that you even bursted more in this, realize what we have. So thank you.
That's amazing. Out of this little book, you and your family were able to come together. And, most likely too, because of what COVID has taught us all, how to reconnect with our loved ones, how to further value and appreciate the little things in our families. I'm sure that this whole experience, not just being in the book, but the experience of 2020, the year of pain and joy, I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. And congratulations to you and your family for getting together to work together on this project and really reconnect in such a special way. So congratulations. Let's snap it up for Leanna, everyone. And next we're going to go to Miss Elka, who talks about education and also building legacy in her chapter. So Erica, I'm going to allow you and invite you to share your chapter with everyone. Hold on, let me just unmute you. There you go. You were on mute. You were on mute. There you go.
I'm Ika McElveen. And first, thanking you, Marsha, for this project. Because when we got the email, I'm like, who has time to write a chapter? As others were saying, balancing work and home and children. I have 7 children. Been married 32 years, so my plate's kind of full. My chapter was pouring rewards of pouring education into others. I was raised by my grandmother. My mother had me at an early age, and so my grandmother kind of raised me. Well, did raise me, so my mother could go to college and pursue her career. She teaches school. So in that setup, at an early age, my grandmother became my mother figure. She owned a daycare. She built a daycare back in the civil rights era. She battled with Jim Crow laws and everything, and I never understood that until recently. Why she just was so adamant about her daycare. She was like her life. She lived there, and everything was daycare, daycare. And fast forward, and I got married, and she was like, "You need to try to run this daycare because you have all these children. You need to be accessible to your children," which I love being with my kids. But my background is I have an undergrad in speech and a master's in agriculture and OSHA certification. I'm like, but I want to make big money. But my decision was, do I want to have money, live a good life, or do I want to sacrifice that and have no relationship with my children? So my grandmother saw the vision that I didn't see. I did not want to run the daycare. It was not my passion, it was her passion, but I felt I was obligated to run the daycare because she took me under her wing and she didn't have to. So I'm thankful for that. And now that in my book, when I wrote the book, she was here, but she passed January 11th of this year. So Marsha, thank you again, because I feel like the book is a tribute to her legacy, and I'm just trying to make her proud. I guess in heaven, I've taken the daycare where she would take children to on trips, and fundraise. I've done basically the same thing, but we did it a little bit. We bought a big bus. We didn't have to borrow buses from the local transit site. We've had 3 school buses from the bus garage. We've taken at risk youth. I'm sorry, on trips, exposing them. We've had kids that have never gone out of the country. Never gone out of the county. I'm sorry, and we've taken them to restaurants, hotels, just trying to expose them, let them know there's more to the world than what they see here in Bladen County. So I thank God for being able to meet all the authors, and I thank God for Marsha, because I didn't really want to write this chapter, but I'm so thankful that I got the opportunity to do that. And it's hard as a entrepreneur, as a female, to juggle home and children and school, and now with the virtual, it's even harder because it takes more of your time because your children are here all day. But my hats are off to all the authors, and make sure you all buy the book because there are inspirational stories in here to help anyone on their journey. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. It's such a pleasure. Let's slap it up for Miss Elka. It was such a pleasure reading your chapter and getting to see how your grandmother did shape you. And, back then and even now, as women, as moms, as nurturers, whether you're a mom or not, we're instantly nurturers. We know and we can see what other people cannot see in themselves. And I think for me personally, that's one of the gifts that I think I have, is that I'm able to see that in others as well. So I'm going to welcome back Gretchen to the stage, and I think she just dropped her. She's having so many internet problems. I feel so bad for her. She is having an unstable internet connection today. So, ladies, I want to now ask you guys, but we can turn the question to anyone. But if you can just share with me, uh, what are your plans for your business moving forward, and as we go into post pandemic? Dr. Shelley, we'll start with you.
As soon as you ask that question, there are lots of things going on with my business right now, and it's active faith to move forward. But I think, and I'm not sure which one of the ladies mentioned it, it's probably been a combination of all of the different conversations. We have to work through the fear and rely on our network. I think it was Azra who said our network is our net worth. I'd never heard that. So I think for my business, for diversity telehealth, it's actually getting a lot of play right now because of the pandemic, and people are doing a lot more healthcare virtually. So that's been expanding. My app, which is a dedication to my father, HerShow, is also been helpful because as people are trying to get the vaccine, it can be helpful in when there's a no-show with people not going to get their vaccine. Once they mix it up, it's got to be used by a certain timeline. So perhaps having HerShow as an option to get people in and use that vaccine. So in a way, trying to use my business in so many different innovative ways, because with this pandemic we've all had to pivot. Things are not as we thought they were going to be, but we can't foretell the future. All we can do is have faith and move forward and do the best we can. So,
And
and thank
keep
you for
pushing.
helping us to do that.
It's so important. And that's why belonging to networks and belonging to organizations, having a group of collective, like-minded people surrounding you uh, is so key and important. So before we get too late, too long, I want to go back to Gretchen and give you your moment back on the stage. Let's just have right, just cross your fingers.
Yes, listen,
Yay.
thank you so much for being patient. My internet service is crazy and I feel like it could cut off at any time. And I honestly, as a clinician, I had to use a lot of deep breathing, the coping skills that I have my clients to use throughout this entire process. But my chapter in the book is really about just the fear. I think that all people, right? And of course, women, as we talk about HerRise, right? The fear that you have about stepping out on your own. I think that that's what my chapter was really about, the fear that I felt. But knowing that I have the experience and the knowledge, it was really just about putting things in place from there. And as I continue to rise, because I still am on the journey and being an entrepreneur, there are still moments where I have fear, and I normalize that for myself, just like I would normalize it for the clients that I service, right? Because the journey is ever going. And this, honestly, Marcia, was really part of the journey, me being able to sit back and look at everything that I've been through and how I've applied it to the business that just continues to grow. And so I think the book is very empowering for women to see women from all walks of life all on their own journey to becoming entrepreneurs. And I know I'm probably not alone when I say that at some point, right, throughout the journey, you'll continue to have those ups and downs, but just pushing through, right? Just pushing through, knowing that you have the experience and the knowledge to continue on your journey. Thank you so much for this. This has been amazing.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think it's so key for everyone to have a plan and a backup plan, but to really persevere. Because no matter what, there's going to be challenges, whether it's global pandemics or personal life, you're always going to have something. And I like to prepare my clients. I make them go through exercises of disaster recovery. As a woman in fintech, I have been in tech for so many years that we have always planned for the disaster. And it's important that as entrepreneurs in your personal and professional life, you must plan for those times as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Azra. Tell us, what is the future for you and your business?
I mean, Marsha, I'm not going to lie. When we were deep into the pandemic, it was really hard. But I do want to say that I have had times in my life where things were so difficult, and I felt 100% that God had my back. And I said to myself, if He took me out of where I was, I can definitely make it through this pandemic. I kept saying, thank God my parents are okay, because we were scared. We didn't know who we were going to lose and how quickly we were going to lose them. So for me, that was the hard part. And once I felt like I just gave it to God's hands, I just said, you know what, let me take a back seat and just see how this goes. And I use that time to work with, talk to other women, and I mean men as well. And kind of like just be happy with whatever was, and just to be grateful for what we had at that time. And I think it was in late November, I realized my pivot wasn't going too well. And I came up with this idea, which I am heavily working, even today, in between all these, interviews that I've had all morning. I've been busy working on this project because it's something that's so close to my heart. It involves other small businesses, other minority owned businesses, other women owned businesses, other community businesses. I plan on launching this new project where it's going to make a direct economic impact. So look forward to that. And it has to do with employee engagement. We've always made awards for companies and corporations' best employees. So this is another project that we're going to be still working with corporations. And I'm grateful that there are corporations out there, and they're basically really encouraging us and empowering us to come up with these ideas and promising that they will work with us. I really hope that this message gets to the ones that are not really active, that they up their game a little bit and give women that opportunity, give minority women voices and a possibility to kind of show their talent and their product.
I say it all the time. This is our time to shoot our shot. You have to go out there. There are companies that are interested in supporting women of color that are true to it, right? And not just doing it for show. Are these ladies all in New York? Trudy, no, not all of the ladies are in New York. We have Kansas in the house, North Carolina in the house, various parts of North Carolina, Atlanta in the house, and Connecticut in the house. So we are a global community. Her Sweet Spot is not just a New York organization, but yours truly is from New York. So thank you for your question. If you have any questions for any of our authors, please do ask, send us a comment, and we will be happy to answer those questions for you. So let's go to Dr. Jen. What's on the horizon? Tell us where we can get your holistic naturopathic services.
Yeah, so my business is called Genteel Nature Health, and I'm working virtually. As I mentioned before, when the pandemic started, I moved the practice to a virtual format, and currently my own practice is a virtual format. And I have three tenets of my business. So one part is the telemedicine visits, which I do mainly focused on reproductive health issues. So women with fibroids, difficulty getting pregnant, irregular menses, PCOS. So those are the issues that I mostly deal with women. So location is not an issue. I am also a New Yorker, born and raised, but I'm currently in Connecticut. So Connecticut has been really good to me. So that is what I'll be doing. The other parts of my business are public health consulting, which is my first career. And then lastly, I'm also coaching other medical providers about how to use integrative medicine, how to incorporate that into practice. As we know, integrative medicine, supplements, natural healing, all of that is becoming very, very popular. So I serve to be a resource that is safe, that actually has the, accreditation and things to actually teach you, how to go on that path in a safe way. So those are the things that I'm working on, and just using my voice, to let women know that they have other options, and that medicine is, multi-pronged, and just look out for healers, people who really have your well-being and health in mind.
Absolutely. I think now, again, because of the pandemic, people were looking at those natural ways to build their immunity, right?
Yes.
So your industry had this surge of people who were more interested in learning about naturopathic ways to maintain health. And, now is best time than ever for you and your business. So congratulations.
Definitely. Thank you.
And you're welcome. Dr. Erica, tell us all about what's coming up next for you post-pandemic.
post-pandemic. Cannot wait for that to happen for so many reasons. Definitely going to continue to work with organizations to help them advance equity. This year, we're trying to reach out and connect with 10 more and really expand the spaces in which we delve in and study equity and then help communities move through that. I've also really leaned into our Lorivore learning brand. So Lorivore means like hunger for knowledge, and have really worked on building that out so that there's online or digital offerings for now, which really empower teachers to deliver effective digital instruction, which is really key during this time. And going forward, really develop it into a platform that builds community among teachers as they build their professional knowledge, whether it's related to digital learning or other fields. And then also just really embracing this digital space. I love technology and have used it so much in my coaching of teachers and helping them bring it to their students, because I really do think it is a way to support and equalize and make learning more equitable for students. It gives us those resources. And so I love that I now can connect with people more digitally. I'm used to being out like in front and in person doing my thing. And so I really just loved connecting with people and want to keep doing those connections, keep using my voice, as Dr. Jennifer was saying, and to share like what's important and what has an impact on our community, and inspiring people to just do their best and keep going.
Yay. Thank you so much. Sunny, tell us what's on the horizon. And first, I want to say that one of the things that I admired when we did the committee talk about your business is that it's a Black-owned nail business, which is very important to me and something that so many women were seeking, especially last year in the year of unrest. So while the industry itself had a huge impact and shutdowns with the number of people and that closeness to your business, I'm sure that the list of new clienteles has grown for you because we are now seeking Black-owned spa and nail businesses. So tell us what's on the horizon for you.
Marsha, I have to tell you, it's very interesting that you brought that up, because for the longest time, fear that I would be a stereotypical Black business, which often carries a negative connotation, which really is just poor business in every race. It's just poor business.
Yeah.
But we, for some reason, have embraced it as, this negative thing sometimes in our community. So for a long time, I wouldn't share that I was a Black-owned business. And I was afraid that white people might see the Indians, so I wouldn't share with white people. So I on both sides. Now that people are searching out Black businesses, I look at the fact that this is an opportunity for me to represent positively and to show that, we are stellar business people. Our race doesn't matter. We're stellar when we set our mind to it.
That's right.
So when you talk about what is my next step, I hope to get more into a bridal boutique with our location, because it does offer itself to bridal parties and things of that sort. I want to also be to the point where I can start stepping away and managing. So I'm hoping that I can have the opportunity to step away, do more management, build the business on the backside, and work on my exit strategy. So often we build these businesses, but we never have a way of how we want to step away from it. A lot of people just close their doors and turn off the lights and they leave. I want to have a sellable business, something that is going to be long lasting. So in all of this, my goal is to continue to work on it and to make it a stellar business that I do have something people want to buy.
I love that. It's so key and it's so important. It's one of the things that's part of my mission when we talk about the Sunny's having technical difficulties, but when we talk about some of the things that are what small businesses, particularly minority-owned businesses, we don't see ourselves as sellable. We don't see ourselves as VC worthy, right? And to build businesses where we can get close to those billion-dollar valuations. And it's really because the venture capitalists don't look like us on the back end. They historically have never funded us, but the avenue of VCs have grown so wide, and we're getting a lot more uh, minority owned VCs, as well as those that are not minority that are interested in seeing us and finally seeing us. So thank you, Sunny, for bringing up that part about looking to build a business that is sellable, and with that exit strategy in mind. So Leanna, share with us what is next on the horizon for you.
Like the other ladies, when the COVID was happening, when it happened, it was like I became in style. It was almost like these people who used to think I was like the weird lady who ate certain things. It was kind of crazy, but it's been a whole evolvement for me because I've always been in the background and really not in front, like at the hair shows. I'd work for Sony Records, it would be backstage, Fashion Week backstage, all these different things. And now I feel like I'm almost going 360 because now my computer skills that I had, as far as even using your left brain thinking versus your right brain, it's been a whole change. So just getting with the social media and starting that, and you've been helpful with that. So I'm really at the beginning of learning this, but I feel like with the 40 years experience that I have between the hair and the business, and I think it's really, I've always been a teacher, I've always been an educator, but not in the social media. So I'm learning this, and this is something that I'll be working towards, having platforms and being able to get to, and even just moving my business from a nice white place in Queens to now I'm kind of in the hood a little bit. It's God has something going on. I just don't know what it is, but
You know, he's
I'm
always got
learning.
a plan. It's never
Yeah,
our plan,
so
it's his plan. They tell you all the time. And it's been
yeah,
really great personally watching your journey, seeing you. And like you said at the beginning, you were like, okay, I'm going to do this, but I'm not really. And I was like, oh, no, you're going to do it. Let's go. Let's write this chapter. Oh, you need another day? Don't worry. It's COVID. Everybody's on pause. We'll wait for you. And that's what we did.
I know.
Leanna is the last chapter of the book. So please read through all of the stories. Order your book today on Amazon. You will be better for it after reading these stories. Elka, please share with us what your next steps are. Oh my God, look at ladies. Everybody's got their books. What an awesome picture. Share with us, Elka, what your plans are for your business moving forward.
Okay. Last year when COVID hit, it was it hit us all hard, and we were licensed with 38. We licensed with 50 kids at the time, and we were sitting there with 38 children on Friday, March the 13th. On Monday, March 16th, we had 2 children in the center and 4 staff. So I put my staff on part time for about 18 weeks. So they're on part time hours, but I still continue to have full time pay. But while right before COVID hit in January, I had a little incident. We have a little stomach virus. I'm gonna make this real quick. We had a stomach virus in the daycare. I asked one of my employees to wash the toys because her class had gone home sick with the virus, and she was kind of a little reluctant. So I just prayed. I was like, God, just let me find something where people don't have to work as hard, like push a button or whatever. So I went to sleep, had a dream. When I woke up, God had given me a dream to design something that could sanitize the air. So if all the little kids in daycare was at a table and one child vomited or sneezed or had something that was contagious, it would sanitize the air without the person having to get up and actually put their labor into it. So I contacted like Azure. I have another product coming out, or a product coming out. I contacted a company, an Asian company, and it's a little product called Germinator. So I'm trying to get more to where it can hit all the daycares, all the schools. Even now, it's I've been contacted by the company. They want to put it in arenas so everybody can go back to being normal on public transit. So it's like the home base is 2 bases. One is alcohol based, but that's more for like industrial, and then the home base would be more the vinegar base. But if you're on the subway in New York, it'll be like a little mist and it'll be in the air. We might probably still might have to wear the mask, but it won't. It'll kill the corona. So I'm working on that. I'm hoping the daycare will stay open, but it's really uncertain because last year they were giving out all these grants, and
Mhm.
SBA money, but I'm not sure how that'll be this year because right now we're down to about 20 kids and they're not coming every day. But I'm just gonna trust God and keep it moving.
Yeah, it's a
Y'all look for
strange
my product.
it's a strange time.
Right.
So wait a minute, did you just drop something on us? You invented this product?
It's called the Germinator, and I have it going through. Davidson is the invention company.
Okay.
So, but my daughter, one of my daughters is a vet for USDA, and she was like, last year, she said, "Mama, that product that you're working on, they're looking for something like that, in the government." So now the company's trying to have the household grade, the school grade, the commercial, industrial grade, and so I was scared I wasn't going to get any money to pay the invention for the patent. So I was looking for
Mhm.
investors, and one of the investors was like, "We can use this on cruise ships and on airplanes. So he says, girl, you going global. So I'm just waiting before I
Girl,
get hit.
you just got the scoop on some real big stuff here.
That's great, great, great.
Yay.
Congratulations. That is major news, major
Thank you.
inspiration, something that, just continue to protect yourself. Make sure you dot all those I's and cross all
I
those
don't, and
T's.
I am
And legal.
lost. I am lost. I don't know
Oh, don't be
anything.
lost. Oh, no. Call me. We make sure you're fully protected. You guys know I'm all about the business protection. Make sure you are going into the right type of partnerships with your legal armor and legal shield around you. So Elka, please, we'll touch base after this. Azra, I want to hear what is next on the horizon for your business. I know the industry of events is opening back up, and we've certainly adapted as the founder of HerRise conference. We've adapted to these virtual events and giving out our awards. What is next for you? Oh, I think you shared that already. You're building the platform, right? You're building this amazing new platform. Well, ladies, this is our time. I know we went just a little bit over the 1 hour mark. Thank you, everyone who has tuned in to purchase our book, celebrate with us, sharing these stories and listening to all of our stories for Pathways to Her Rise. The book will truly, truly. I mean, I have put together several anthologies, and truly, I just get I think it gets better. I get more proud. I get more excited about the work that we're doing at Her Sweet Spot. And I want to announce today on International Women's Day in this broadcast that Her Sweet Spot is now a fully global online platform with the Her Sweet Spot network. We've opened up a free community for women of color to come together to communicate, connect, get inspired and educated by one another. So if you go to hersweetspot.com, you can register for a free account for our brand new online community, and where you can gain exposure, build your brand, connect with other strong, like-minded women just like you guys. And we hope to see you inside Her Sweet Spot. Bye bye for now.